Welcome to Women in B2B Marketing, a show where CMOs, VPs of marketing, and all strong women leaders in B2B discuss their top tactics, strategies, and tips for building high-performing teams, leveraging trends, and ultimately rocking their marketing careers. Made by and for women, insightful for all. I'm your host and 15-year B2B marketer, Jane Serra. Let's dive in. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Women in B2B Marketing. Today, we have with us the amazing Kristina Keene, who I'm sure you've seen on social. I definitely see her on LinkedIn. She's the director of brand and content at Flip. So excited to chat through a bunch of different things, but mostly brand, what content activations are working now, and just getting into the nitty-gritty of what's working. So welcome to the show, Kristina.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And if people hear my dog being a complete crazy thing in the background, his name is Goose. I did this to myself.
Aw, he's adorable, everyone. I'm sure if we watch this video in the future, if we have a clip, you'll see him pop in maybe, but it'll be a nice fun surprise. Well, Kristina, the first thing I like to ask people when they come to the show is, how did you get into the world of B2B? Because I feel like no one goes to school being like, I want to be a B2B marketer. So what got you here?
Yeah, when I was in school, I thought, I'm going to go to law school. I'm going to be a lawyer. Intellectual property is my thing. And then the Great Recession happened and I graduated from college in 2009. So going into 6 figures worth of debt was just like a no, thank you immediately. And I got a job at Ballet West as a grant writer. I was their coordinator for institutional, foundational, and corporate support. So I was handling a lot of different areas of asking for money, and it taught me to be fearless. When you're 22 and asking very rich people for money for a thing that has zero return, you just sort of drop any ego and you just are like, okay, we're trapped in an elevator together. Why don't you write us a check for 10 grand?
Love it.
Yeah. And I very quickly realized, though, that in order to be an adult that could afford to live somewhere other than her car, I needed to get a real job. I loved nonprofit arts fundraising. I hate to say it, but I loved the boys in tights walking around. That was definitely a perk.
Love it.
But after that, I was just like, okay, I need to do something where I can continue to use my writing talent and maybe expand what I do beyond that. And I fell into a job at an energy shots company. And I live in Utah. So that company very quickly turned into an MLM. And I'm not a multi-level marketing kind of gal. So once they did that, I was like, all right, I'm out of here. The economy, though, was still pretty terrible. So I was, going up for jobs against people who had a master's and had been in the job market for 15 plus years. And I was still a couple years fresh out of college. And I got a lucky break and was hired on to do marketing and client relations for a medical software company. And so I fell into B2B marketing, and I found that I could do that really well if I was working for a product that I knew people needed. Medical software, it was the kind of software that was definitely helpful for hospitals. When I left there, I worked for a financial institution, and we were giving people advice that was helpful for them, not advice that was going to put them in a bad spot. And then I got to move over into a CRM for the banking industry. And that's very needed in an industry like that. And now I work at Flip, and we are solving customer support with AI, which is pretty fucking cool. I probably should have warned you that I swear like a sailor, shouldn't I?
I love it. This show is cursing friendly.
Because I can't help myself. Yeah. Mother's got this. Oh, go ahead. My mother's got this great story of me when I was a little tiny kid. I think I was 4 or 5. And she was teaching a Bible study class at church. And she brought me and she asked the kids in the class, what animals are in the Bible? And they're all just looking at each other. And I raise my hand and I say, ass. I was proud of myself. But yeah, so it's very young for me.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I wonder if one of your first words was a curse word.
I would not be surprised. I was a very precocious child. I'm sure that's a surprise to everyone watching this, but I was a handful from conception. My mother had bronchitis when she was pregnant with me, and every time she coughed, I would kick her in the lungs.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I've just been the little
Ball of
feisty
personality.
Huh?
I love that. There's Instagram as a parent. There's like a million parent things that I follow. And there's one called the spicy ones. And it's all about when you have like a spicy child, which my niece definitely is. And I love her for it. If you have any parents who don't follow this person, look up on Instagram, the spicy ones. So cute. But it sounds like you're a spicy one, Kristina. Let's see. So you're now in the world of AI, which I feel like, God, 90% of us in marketing are now, right? Because everything's turning AI. What is working for you right now? Or what do you see working for content? Like you're owning content and brand on both sides. What is working? What's actually driving not just traffic, right? I feel like that was what I was going to say, because that's what we used to ask. What's driving traffic? And now it's what's driving pipeline.
Right. And engagement. We get so much more engagement on LinkedIn than we do. We get visits to our website, but not nearly at the same level as we do on LinkedIn. But to your question, I'll start with the brand piece first, because it dictates what I do on the content side. When I joined the company, it'll be 3 years in May. So it was an AI company before AI really started to take off and come into what it is now. And we are in the customer experience space. So we are a voice bot that answers customer support calls like, where's my order? Can I start a return? Tier 1, easy questions that a bot can answer we just don't need a human for. But at the time, we were getting a fair amount of resistance from prospects around that. Customer experience is this superhuman thing. Why would we trust an AI to do it? And the brands that got it, but we had to educate the rest of the market. So my head immediately went to, okay, we're not going to be cold. We're not going to be robotic. We're not going to be using silvers and blues in our color scheme. We are going to be bold and loud and funny and interesting and charming. And when it really boiled down to it, I just wanted people to say that working with us was working with the cutest robot out there. And and on the content side, because I want our brand to be known as bold and funny and interesting, ultimately that means on the content side, it has to be superhuman. So customer experience is superhuman. Our content needs to be superhuman. It can't be the standard kind of marketing content that is there just to persuade you. We need to tell the human side of it. I've focused a lot on doing video, but doing it with the people at the brands that we talk to. So they are seeing their peers talking about this robot doing this thing, and they're telling the story. It's not me telling the story, because what do I know? I've never done customer experience outside of, I think, as marketers, we're all things anyway. So we are customer experience. We are that at certain points when everything's on fire, it's call the marketer and they'll fix it. But outside of that, I've never worked in a call center. I've never managed a call center. I need our customers, our clients who have done that and do that every single day. I need them to tell the story. I don't need our bot to tell the story. I don't need me necessarily telling the story. So our content has pretty broadly been centered around letting them be the hero, letting them tell the story.
So when you say superhuman, right? I zoned in on that word. What do you mean? Let's unpack that word. What are you looking for when you want your content to be superhuman?
I want someone who isn't scripted. I want someone who can be very much themselves on camera. I want someone who, if I throw a random question at them, they answer it in a really candid way. I don't want calculated. I don't want someone who's really measured. I want someone who is willing to get on camera with me and just let their weird out. I want to talk to, I want to talk to humans as humans. I don't want to talk to someone in a boardroom. I want to talk to someone who is the real you. Let's pull up your birth chart and see what your sun, moon, and rising are. And then I'm going to ask you what kind of bird you would be if you were a bird. And if you say a pigeon, let's laugh about it. Yeah. And if along the way you also say, oh, and Flip's also automating 90% of our support calls, that's pretty kick-ass as a marketer. Yeah. Okay. So you're cool and you're funny and people want to watch you and you're telling a great story about our product. Perfect.
Yeah, so true. Yeah. So on video content, because I'm fully with you, because whenever you if I'm filming a customer testimonial, for example, and I'm trying to pull out like exactly what you're describing, like a fun, raw, real view, POV, that happens to boast about extra. So I want that mix. But as soon as I hit record, it's like Severance from what I haven't watched the show, but from what I hear about it, right? It's like they all of a sudden become someone else and they're just like a different person. Their personality is zapped out. How do you avoid that on camera? Is it asking the bird question or how do you warm them up to get their real personalities on screen?
Yeah. One, I come to a recording giving of myself that I want them to give. If I show up and I'm quiet and very buttoned up and not at all myself, they're going to react the same way. So I do a bit of mirroring in that sense. But then I love to just break the ice and get out something stupid right at the start. So they are off their guard and they're laughing and they're enjoying their time. Because if they're enjoying it, they're going to tell a better story.
Yeah, I love that. And so it's leading by example.
Yeah. Yeah,
so you don't just give them like shots of whiskey.
I mean, sometimes if that's what's needed, because not everybody's a natural on camera, which I'm learning slowly. Yeah, if they say, Kristina, I want to do this with you, but you're going to have to give me a shot of whiskey, then
you'll bring that
shot of whiskey and we'll record the whole thing and it'll be funny and sure, let's do it. Yeah, I would even offer if someone said, I'm only going to be relaxed on camera if you're dressed in a chicken suit.
Love it. That's so cute. Dedication. Flip founders.
Dedication.
So I think I saw on I was going to say Instagram, it's probably there too, on LinkedIn. There's a new series that you've recently launched, right? I think Flip or Flop. Can you tell us about it? It sounds really cool.
Yeah. So this came from a place of frustration, honestly. I fucking hate a standard case study. I hate the long-winded blog post style thing. We don't see people looking at them. It's not content that people want to engage with. It's just not where people want to spend their time. They don't want to spend their time reading a long ass case study.
So true. We just look at the stats.
We just look at the stats. And if there's a short clip, cool. But if it's a 45-minute long interview, no one's going to watch that. So I sat down and I thought, me as a person, I'm not a technical writer. I write about as seriously as I speak. So I've put blog posts up on our website that have titles like, don't be scared as shit to automate your call center. It's just not writing a standard case study is just not something that is in my wheelhouse. So I thought I can tell a different story and I can do it by bringing in that very human element. And what is more human than eating food together with people and then having a conversation while you're eating it. Super simple premise, but Nancy Gerd, shout out to Nancy at Caraway Home. I told her about this idea and she's, hell yeah, let's do it. We decided to do a pizza crawl through Brooklyn. And
I love that.
It was so much fun. Oh my God, it was so much fun. We got a slice of cheese and a slice of pepperoni at each of the first 2 stops. And we rated them while talking about customer experience and her experience using Flip. And by the time we got to the third stop, we were just nuts. So we were talking about dog butts. I have a 3-minute clip, I think, of us just going off on dog butts and
corgis, I'm sure.
oh no, we didn't see a single corgi, which actually makes me sad. Yeah, I think
Aw.
we saw like a Shih Tzu, and then we saw some kind of pitty mix, and then I want to say we saw something akin to a golden doodle.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then at the last stop, we let Brian, our CEO, come to this place called Aces in Brooklyn. If you haven't been to Aces in Brooklyn, it is life-changing pizza.
Wow.
Yeah, I discovered hot honey there for the first
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Like 2.5 years ago, and I have never forgotten it. So now every time I'm in New York, I eat at Aces, and that's pretty much it. And then my face
Love
gets
it.
puffy, and I feel weird because there's so much gluten in me, but I'm happy
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's Aces.
Puffy but happy.
Puffy but happy. I don't really need to be anything else. Yeah, we let Brian come, and he talked for really long time. He talked for over an hour about how the company started, and now Goose is jumping. How the company started, how we went about the brand change when I joined the company, and all sorts of other things. And at the end of that day, I was washing my face at night and just reflecting on everything. And it was just like, you know what? This is right. I've got a hunch on this thing. This is the kind of content that people are going to want to watch. It's the kind of content that we can make bite-sized for social. We can have longer format for when we need it, but max the episodes are going to be 15 minutes long. And it's timeless too, because what's more timeless than pizza in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Nothing.
I love that. And it's you all walking from place to place and just like live movement shots. That's got to be great for content to repurpose too, like for your version of the case study, but also like snippets that you could use elsewhere.
Oh, yeah. I did ask Nancy the bird question, and she was the one who said pigeon. And a New York City pigeon, also timeless, but there happened to be one just on the street in front of us in a puddle. And so we have footage. Pigeon. Typical New York content. We're not at the Empire State Building, but New York City pizza and a pigeon. Yeah, it was pretty great. And then I will be in LA filming more episodes of Flip or Flop. And of course, LA is super spread out. So we're going to have to change the format a little bit, but it's still going to be a really good time. And yeah, humans eating and talking, shooting the shit about the thing that we're all excited about.
I love
it's
that.
Working out. Yeah.
You're already giving me ideas that I could bring to Daxtra. So this is super inspiring. I love that.
Nice.
So on the flip side, there's so many cool names that you could use. Like I love Flip or Flop. On the flip side is totally like the book that you guys write or something. But it's so human connection, people like just walking, talking, eating, talking about pigeons, like just like real life. Filmed like the real world, OG real world, like original, right? That's what it's giving me. So if that's what's working, I'm totally with you. On the flip side, what are you sick of seeing? What is overrated and you are not about anymore?
I won't do any kind of gated content. I just won't. I fuck gated content. I hate a white paper. I hate a playbook. I can't be bothered to give a shit. I think things like that were a lot more powerful when I started my career. And now that I've been doing this for as long as I have been, I don't ever want to see another white paper again. And if a partner comes to us and says, hey, we want you to collaborate on a white paper that we're going to gate on a landing page, my immediate answer is no. I can't and I won't. Not for me. No, nope. I am very much a lay it all out there kind of gal. And the only thing you need to do to see my content is follow me, follow Flip. And it's all over. It's on YouTube. It's on our website.
Yeah.
We don't gate anything.
Why do you think that doesn't work anymore, the gating of content? Is it that people don't go to websites? They don't download this? They don't care? Or what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's part of it because buyers in B2B, in the B2B space, they do all of their research before they ever go to a website. So they are asking their friends, their peers, what they use for a problem that they're trying to solve. They look on things like LinkedIn. They have Discord channels that they are a part of where people are talking about the platforms that they're using. They don't go to your website. They just don't go to your website. So there's that part of it. But then I also think our brains have been rewired a bit on a whole with things like Instagram, TikTok, where you can just open it and there's so much content. And all you have to do is use your finger and scroll. That's it. That's all you have to do. And when content is so easy to consume like that, why would you get your
It's
content?
so true.
I don't get
Yeah.
it. It's just, I'm not going to do it.
Do you think, question here, because I'm totally with you. I'm not going to say I'm not guilty of creating ebooks and playbooks. I do still do that from time to time. But I do agree, and I hate the gated part of things. Do you think that content like this can still be useful in, say, a web page form, scrolling through and not just tons of text? Is there a way to make it work, or you're just over all of that and it's video only?
Yeah, no, I think it absolutely can. I am, in addition to Instagram and TikTok, just completely fucking with our brains.
Totally.
No one has an attention span anymore. For me, if you're doing a playbook, the first thing I would think about is, how can I make this bite-sized? How can I take a traditional long-winded playbook and put it into a slide reel for LinkedIn? 10 slides. If I can get into that, then cool. And it's not gated. And if people want it more information, then just put a CTA in the copy and say, hey, DM me, let's talk. You're going to book more meetings that way. People will see it as your content is totally open and it's easy to consume. And you're not bullshitting them because you're putting it all out there, but you're also not telling the full story. So they're seeing it, they're compelled, and they're reaching out to you to be the human that tells them the story rather than, hey, give me your email and I'll send you the story that you'll never read because it'll be lost in your inbox.
But we have your email now.
What are you going to do with that? Like, it's not going to be relevant in 6 months when they change a job. But that connection, if they DM'd you because they want to hear more, that connection is there. That's solid. If they change companies in 6 months and 2 months, you're still connected. So that's a more meaningful play in my mind than creating a multi-page PDF and gating it on a landing page. Just don't do it.
I do agree with you on all of this, but the PDF thing always irks me. First, I think we're all still trained, as much as TikTok and Instagram, as consumers, as viewers, and people absorbing the content has ruined us in a good way, maybe, right?
Yeah.
We're just different and we expect things a certain way and we're scrollers. We still, as marketers and go-to-market people, I feel like it's our default and we have to train ourselves or rewire that aspect of things. Because I still have, my whole life, I've had salespeople ask me, I need a one-sheeter, like a PDF. And I'm just like, why? Just go to this webpage. Like, here's a link. Tell them to go there because then we can track them and then retarget that. Like, it's all connected. A one-sheeter is just like, meh, and it never gets seen again. And probably no one looks at it. There's a few times it's needed, right? Like handouts at shows and things like that, maybe. But it's, death to PDFs for sure.
Yeah. I don't like a PDF. I don't like a PDF. And I think I have the benefit of, I've always been very much creative, and the more marketing operational side of house, I haven't been that heavily involved in throughout most of my career. So now as a solo marketer, people can tell me how things have been done. I don't give a shit. We're going to do things differently because we can. And it's a whole lot cheaper to do things differently now than it used to be. You don't need to have a designed multi-page ebook. You don't need to pay out the ass for that. Create a slide reel in Canva and put it on your LinkedIn, and people are going to like what you're saying, and hopefully. And it's faster, it's cheaper, and you're democratizing the content, which I'm always a fan of that.
I love that. So this was all really great on the tactical takeaways from our, again, I already have some ideas, so thank you. If we go behind the scenes into your world, who is Kristina and what has the past 3 to 5 years, I think, has changed, or they've changed all of us in different ways, right?
Yes.
And career-wise, personal-wise, like how has the past 3 to 5 years impacted you, your career and professionally? What do you think has changed and evolved?
Yeah,
Just a light question.
No, I love it. I love it. In the last couple of years, personally, I have had just monumental change. I got out of a really bad relationship and was recovering from that. So I started at Flip in May of 20. And in July, at the beginning of July, I ended an 8-year long relationship. And I went, yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
And I all of a sudden found myself as a single woman living alone who had a mortgage that's it's totally under my name. And
Yep.
then my grandmother died, and then we did the rebrand. And then I had some health stuff. And then all of a sudden it was 20 and my back went out. And then I had to get back surgery, which I did on January 6th of this year. So as a person, yeah, so it's been a journey since I've been at Flip. And what that has done to my brain is that I've always been very much a no bullshit kind of gal. I call it like I see it. My emotions are just painted on my face.
Same.
Yeah. I just can't be bothered
For good
to
or for
have
bad.
a filter. Yeah. And I think it's always good because it's always honest. And I have become even more so that I have gotten a lot better at saying no, which is fun as hell. And I have just really dug in my heels at work and just said, I don't care if we're going after enterprise brands. That doesn't mean that we need to be boring. We are going to continue to be a bold brand because it's been the thing that has helped us grow. So if I think startups all get to this point where they're still very much a startup, but they have gotten to a level where my dog is just, he's throwing his orange orangutan around.
He's like, Mommy, pay attention to me.
Yeah. And I got a goose. Yeah. But I think, got goose, just, okay, you can keep that in. Don't edit that out. We should actually talk about that at a certain point. My thoughts about video editing, especially
bloopers and keeping and things. Yeah.
I don't edit anything. I will not edit myself. But yeah, startups, they reach this point where they've been doing something for so long. They've been really bold for so long because they had to be a stick out in the market. And then all of a sudden they're being put in front of bigger and bigger companies where they're trying to get them and they're like, oh shoot, do we need to change how we're doing things? To me, it's fuck no. Double down on being bold because that's how you got in front of them in the first place. So if you drop that at this point, you're going to stunt your growth. I have empowered myself to say, this is what we're doing. I don't give a shit if you don't like it. And it's working well. We're growing like crazy. Our LinkedIn follower count went up from in January of 24, we were at like 1,300 followers on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We just passed over 12,000. It worked. People want to engage with a fun, bold brand. They don't want to engage with the brands that their parents worked for.
Yeah. That's so true. Because I think every brand who starts to go up market or starts to transition to speaking to execs or either of those, they all have this conversation of, like, how do we change it for this? And there's tweaks you make to certain audiences. Of course, you want to make it speak to them, but there's still people. But there's this perception that we have, like the PDF and the old way of thinking and marketing, where people just think you have to all of a sudden be super professional and buttoned up. But they're still people. They're still humans. You still can connect to them on that level. And then you'll stand out from everyone else trying to keep it professional.
And our founders are super young. And they don't do professional well. Professional isn't them. Professional certainly isn't me. It's not who we are. We're a bunch of misfits.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's another great title for you guys for something. Something with the misfits.
The flippin' misfits.
Yeah.
My favorite piece of swag that we've ever done is just a big pirate flag where we turned our Flipbot's face into the Jolly Roger with the skull and crossbones. And then it says "Get Flipped" at the bottom of it. Flying outside of my house currently. I live in suburban Utah. Yeah,
everyone's like,
so it's flipped on it. Yeah, my neighbors think I'm great. Yeah, no, you're right. Everybody gets to that point where they're like, "Oh, do we need to button up our collars a little bit more? Do we need to start like doing steak dinners instead of happy hours?" And if that's not who your company is at its core, don't change that. Don't be who you are. And people love authenticity. When it really comes down to it, people love authenticity.
Agreed. Okay, I have a couple more questions for you. I haven't asked this question in a while, and I feel like you'd have some great answers, especially coming from Flip. What are some cool tools that you're loving at the moment? It doesn't have to be cool, but any tool that like is your staple, gets you through the day, or that you're just really excited or curious about right now.
I love Veed. I love Veed. Sometimes Veed makes me really angry. I'll be working on a video in the middle of the night and it'll be like, "Oh, you want subtitles on this? Tough." But I can't do the work that I need to do if I'm spending hours on doing things like adding captions to a video.
Yeah.
That I have a tool that's not expensive that does that for me and can also help me create clips of things or help me do audio animations since we're a voice company. Yeah, yes, please. I want all of that. I want more companies to be like Veed. Like, give me more tools that do lots of different things for one specific area so that I can do the things that I need to do just there. So yeah, Veed, I really love it. If you're listening to this and you want me to do some content for you, here it is.
Yes, I actually I'm friends with someone on the marketing team there. I'll connect you with her after. I was like, I need to send this clip to her.
Yeah, do, because I love Veed. I use it all the time. Yeah, I love Veed. It's my number one right now.
I need to check it out. Thank you. So I'll put the link in the show notes for anyone. Promise, not sponsored, but happy to promote.
We should get them to sponsor.
Yeah, I am in talks with her, but we shall see. I need to check out Veed myself, though, and you're really getting me to want to check that out. So that's cool. You also want to unpack something you mentioned here because we talked about it before we turned the mics on too. And I wrote down, if you see me writing, it's because I'm taking notes on my phone. You mentioned before the mics came on, there's the only time for deep creative time is the middle of the night. And I so felt that because I wrote that down. And lately, that's how I feel. Because when you're a tiny team or a solo marketer, you're doing so many things that you're jumping from one to the next. You're always, context switching? Because you can't multitask, it's switching. And it's so at the end of the day, when, like you said, there's nobody pinging you on Slack, no messages coming in, it's quiet. That's when it's the best time to be creative and get that done. Can you unpack this a little bit for us? Because I so agree.
Yeah. So Goose just threw himself off the bed and onto my treadmill. But
time for
exercise. Plays a part into this. Yeah, he's ready for a walk. But in the middle of the night, like all day, I'm doing context switching. I'm going from meetings 1 minute to working on a video the next to writing an email sequence to it's constant. And I am so brain dead by about 4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I look at numbers and they just switch around for me. And I'm like,
same.
Thinking is not a thing that I should be doing right now. So I usually take a break at about 4:00 in the afternoon. And we have people working on either coast. When the people that are on the East Coast, it's 6:00 for them. And the people on the West Coast, it's 3:00 for them. So they don't want to talk to me anyway. So I take my break and I eat something because I'm a person who forgets to eat throughout the day, especially on a busy day. Yeah, Oof. It's not good. And I just recently gave up caffeine. So I used to be like a 2 to 3 matchas a day kind of gal.
Wow. Big change.
Yeah. Then I gave that up cold turkey.
Congrats. And I've done the same.
Thank you. Yeah, it's hard.
It is at first. Yeah. It's great though for reducing anxiety. Highly recommend.
Yeah. And it helps your sleep. And it's a good switch. But when you go from that to, oh, shoot, I don't have anything in the morning, and you forget about the whole like breakfast thing. Yeah. By 4 o'clock, like I'm brain dead. I'm hungry. I can't put anything into words. I'm not going to say anything intelligent. So I take a break. I eat. I try to get some kind of exercise in. I play with Goose. And then by the time I return to my laptop, everyone's offline except for maybe the people that I really need to talk to who I haven't had a chance to engage with all day. And I can just turn on some true crime or something really violent. That works for me.
And check out.
And check out. And just
I get that.
Just do the things. And it's not uncommon for me to do very weird things in the middle of the night. That's when I get my craziest content ideas. And then I wake up in the morning thinking like, I'm going to regret this. And then I rewatch it and I'm like, no, tired Kristina. She was right. She knew what she was doing. This is bonkers, but I think it'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love late night. And I almost always, I'm very much a sweet treat at night kind of person. So I'll take a little break in the time from post dinner and exercise before I get to 1 o'clock in the morning when I go to sleep.
Yeah.
I'll take a little break in the middle of that and have a little chocolate ice cream or something. And that gives me just that little bit of juice to continue on with the bonkers thinking that I don't have time for when I'm context switching and meeting hopping.
Exactly.
Yeah. I really love working in the middle of the night. It's
That's when I get a lot of good stuff done too. It's like super late at night when everything's quiet. My son is sleeping. My husband is sleeping. No one's pinging me. Although now I work for a team that is also an APAC. So the APAC team will be pinging me, but they think I'm sleeping. So it's okay. I usually am, guys, if you're listening. But if I have that time in the middle of the night, it's great. I'm fully with you. Or early morning, like before everyone's on. I used to do this when the time changed and I came back from a trip overseas. And so I was adjusting back. I was waking up at 5 a.m. And that was so good for me because I woke up at 5. I had 2 hours before my son woke up and I got to just jam out like deep work. Nice. It was so good. I wish I could get back to that. Now I know I'm sleeping. So.
Yeah, I did that a lot in college. I would procrastinate until the very last second. And then I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, the day a term paper was due, and just knock it out before class.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in that club too. No doze was a thing in college.
No doze. Yeah. And those 5-hour energy shots.
Yeah. So funny.
Yeah.
One thing, Kristina, talking about like our college days, if you could go back in time to Kristina having those energy drinks and waking up at 4, doing her term paper, knowing all you know now about marketing and getting into B2B marketing in your career, what would you tell her?
I was an English major. I would tell her, you don't need to focus so much on the structure of a sonnet. It's not going to help you. You know, the thing that has served me really well from my college days was my English degree taught me to be a critical thinker. So if I could go back, I would say really focus more in on that so that when you graduate, you actually have a path to a career, not just winging it and see what happens. What happens has worked out pretty well, but I think my 20-year-old self would have been served really well by knowing that you don't have to go to graduate school. You don't have to spend a bunch of money to get another degree. You're going to be really good at something that you can just jump into. And I also think that I would tell her, get more serious earlier about your personal brand. Because at a certain point, you're going to be trying to build it. And it's going to be hard and a little demoralizing because the LinkedIn algorithm is not friendly to any of us. And that's not super fun. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a runny nose because the season is changing. So my eyeballs are itchy. My nose is runny. Yeah.
But spring is coming.
Spring is coming. I'm so excited. If it snows one more time here, I'm going to get really sad. I'm looking at my vitamin D bag on my nightstand. But I would tell her, pay attention to that critical thinking piece, plot the things that you want to do in your life and how you can get there, and take
Build
your
your
personal brand seriously.
Yeah, agreed. I wish I started that sooner too. We get
Or
in our own
same.
way.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I think for me, I didn't realize that you could grow a personal brand on LinkedIn until I was really far down in my career. I think I had been working for 12-ish years before I really even realized that LinkedIn was a thing that existed beyond just having it be an online resume.
Resume.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the
But
past 5 years, it's
yeah.
really changed. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a great place to connect. It really is. I tell people I have a very young team at Flip, but I tell people all the time, like, LinkedIn can be cringe, but it doesn't have to. If you don't like going on LinkedIn, one, look at who you're connected to. If you don't like their
Yeah.
content, go find people whose content you do. And then
Mhm.
two, if you think it's cringe, put some content out there that isn't cringe.
Agreed. Take
Yeah.
control.
Control.
And get
And
in
don't
there while you're
overthink
young.
it. Yes. Get in there while you're young.
Love it. Kristina, I think perfect segue into where can people connect with you and chat with you?
Yeah. LinkedIn. Go find me
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. I put all of my energy into LinkedIn. I'm a startup gal. I don't have time for multiple channels. I have time for one channel, and that is the channel
Same.
where our buyers are, and that is LinkedIn. So find me on LinkedIn. Yeah, I say crazy things on LinkedIn, and it's really fun. My content is not cringe. No cringe from KK.
I love that. I'm sure my content is cringe. We'll see. I
No,
need
it's
to get
not.
audited.
No, yours is so authentic. I love it.
Oh,
And I love
yay.
that you're talking to women in this space, because there are a lot of dudes on LinkedIn. There are a
Yeah.
lot of dudes on LinkedIn, and they're the ones putting out playbooks.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't want to
How I
sign up
got
for your
10
newsletter.
million ARR in 3 months. Yeah. Like that.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. You did that because you're a white guy. Yeah.
That's so
Okay.
true. You
It's
should
so
comment that under the
true.
next one.
I might.
That's the first step in the playbook.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're a white guy,
So fun.
there's your playbook. Just buy a pair of khakis. Start learning to play. Yeah. Yeah. It's that. And
So fun.
I don't want to see any more digital events where it's all dudes. Not interested. If another sales dude invites me to join his newsletter, no, thank you.
Every day.
Yeah. Every day.
So true.
Yeah. But women, I can get behind that.
There's so much
Yeah.
more that we need to get out there and say and do. I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kristina. This has
Thank
been such a
you.
fun episode. My cheeks are hurting from laughing and smiling so much. So I appreciate that. I needed this vibe today to turn it around. Thank you for being on the show. I so appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And Hype Pirate is in my LinkedIn bio. So if anybody else needs this energy, Jane, if you need this energy, just ping me, because I'm at 100%, 20%.
I love that, even without the caffeine.
I'm fueled by sugar today. So
there you go. That chocolate ice cream.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I ordered cinnamon rolls. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And everybody listening, connect with Kristina, connect with me. Let us know if you have any questions or follow-ups. And as I always ask, please rate us, review us, share with a friend, post about us on LinkedIn, tag us if you like the episode. Just gets more love out there and more visibility for the show. So thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you.